Hell's Angels laughed at the elderly woman until her patch silenced the entire room. The heavy steel doors of the Hell's Angels clubhouse groaned as they were pushed open, cutting through the thick haze of cigar smoke and the low rumble of idle conversation. Inside, the air was charged with a rough, masculine energy. Leather vests adorned with death's heads and 1% patches covered broad shoulders, and the walls were lined with trophies of a life lived on the edge. Into this fortress of intimidation walked Evelyn. She was a small woman, barely 5 feet tall, her hair a cloud of silver pinned neatly back, and her hands trembling slightly as they clutched a worn leather bag. She wore a simple floral dress that seemed woefully out of place among the denim and leather. The room didn't just go quiet, it froze for a split second before erupting into raucous laughter. "Well, look what the cat dragged in," sneered a large man with a scarred face, leaning back in his chair. "Did you take a wrong turn at the bingo hall, Granny?" "Yeah," another chimed in, swirling his beer. "Maybe she's looking for her dentures. We haven't seen 'em." The laughter bounced off the concrete walls, harsh and unforgiving. They expected her to crumble, to turn tail and run back to whatever safe suburb she came from. But Evelyn didn't flinch. She stopped in the center of the room, her spine straightening with a sudden ironclad resolve. Her eyes, clouded by age but sharp with purpose, scanned the room until they locked onto the man sitting at the head of the table, the chapter president, Troy Madson. "I drove 400 miles to get here," Evelyn said, her voice surprisingly steady, cutting through the jeers like a knife. "And I will not leave until I have done what I came to do." Troy raised an eyebrow, amused by her audacity. "And what exactly did you come to do, little lady? Preach to us? Tell us to clean up our act?" "No," Evelyn replied softly. "I came to return something that belongs to history." She reached into her bag and pulled out a folded piece of black leather. It was old, cracked with age, and smelled faintly of oil and tobacco. With deliberate slowness, she began to unfold it. As the vest opened fully, the laughter in the room died instantly, replaced by a silence so profound you could hear the hum of the refrigerator in the back. It wasn't just any vest, it was a cut belonging to a club long forgotten by the modern world, the Iron Ghosts. On the back, stitched in faded but legible thread, was the club's emblem, a phantom riding a motorcycle through a field of poppies. But it was the front that held the room captive. Across the leather, spanning the chest and shoulders, were dozens of signatures in permanent marker, dated 1969. Evelyn's voice trembled, not from fear, but from emotion. "This belonged to my husband, Frank Calder. He was a Vietnam veteran. He didn't want pity when he came home. He wanted brotherhood. So, he and men like him formed the Iron Ghosts. They sought understanding in a world that had forgotten them." She stepped closer to Troy, holding the vest out. "Look closely, President Madson. Look at the signature right here near the collar." Troy leaned forward, squinting. As he read the name, the color drained from his face. Raymond Madson, his uncle, the man who had raised him after his parents died, the man whose legacy of loyalty and honor had shaped Troy's entire life, yet whose legacy Troy had seemingly abandoned in his pursuit of power and notoriety. "Uncle Ray," Troy whispered, the word hanging heavy in the smoky air. The mockery in his eyes vanished, replaced by a dawning horror and deep shame. He looked at the other signatures, his breath hitching. An older member of the club, Garrett, stood up slowly from the shadows. He walked over, his movements stiff with age, and traced a finger over another name near the bottom. "Lawrence Beck," he choked out, tears welling in his gritty eyes. "That's my father. I thought he died alone. I didn't know he was part of something like this." Evelyn nodded gently at Garrett. "They weren't alone, son, not while they had each other." She then reached into her pocket and produced a yellowed envelope. Before Frank passed, and before many of the others followed, Joel Raines wrote this. Joel was one of the founders. He asked me to deliver it to any club that had lost its way. Troy took the letter with shaking hands. He broke the seal and read aloud, his voice cracking under the weight of the words. Loyalty and respect are earned, not taken. They are not demanded through fear or enforced by violence. True brotherhood is found in those who lift each other up when the world knocks them down. This vest belongs to those who understand that the patch on your back is a promise, not a threat. The room was utterly still. These men, hardened by years of street fights and illegal runs, found themselves brought to their knees by the memory of men who valued honor above all else. Troy looked at the vest, then at his own coot, the symbol of his authority. Slowly, with a reverence that silenced even the ticking of the clock on the wall, Troy unclasped his own Hell's Angels patch. He held it in his hand for a moment, looking at it with regret, before placing it gently on the table. "We have forgotten who we are," Troy admitted, his voice thick with emotion. "We chased the noise and lost the music." He turned to the wall where the chapter's official plaque hung. Without hesitation, he tore it down. In its place, with the help of Garrett and 2 other members, he mounted Frank Calder's old Iron Ghost's vest. It looked majestic against the dark wood, a beacon of a purer past. "That stays there," Troy declared, turning to face his brothers. "From today forward, this chapter rides differently. We honor the Iron Ghosts, we honor the veterans, we honor the promise." In the years that followed, the transformation was remarkable. Troy organized joint rides with rival clubs, not to claim territory, but to raise funds for veterans' hospitals and to tell the story of the Iron Ghosts. The aggression that once defined them softened into a protective strength. Garrett, inspired by the discovery of his father's legacy, eventually started his own small club. He didn't seek fame or infamy. He called it the Iron Ghosts. Under his leadership, a new generation of riders learned that the strongest thing a man can wear isn't leather or steel, but integrity. Evelyn watched it all from her porch, sipping tea, knowing that Frank's spirit was alive and well. She had walked into a den of wolves and reminded them that beneath the fur and fangs there were still hearts capable of love, remorse, and redemption. The story of Evelyn and the vest serves as a powerful reminder that no one is beyond saving, and that history, if remembered correctly, can heal even the deepest wounds. Respect is the universal language, and sometimes it only takes one brave soul to speak it to change the world. If you believe in the power of kindness, the importance of second chances, and the enduring strength of legacy, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us spread these emotional stories of hope to millions around the globe. Don't forget to tell us in the comments where you are watching from. We love hearing from our global family. Thanks for watching.